So, someone sent me an email. I thank you to everyone who has sent cards and emails and gifts surrounding the loss of Pookie, and we really appreciate your support. Uh, Obviously, it was a rough week, and happening right before my birthday, you know, didn't help. But it's a tragedy anytime we lose one. So someone asked me in an email if I would discuss the stages of grief because not all of us know the stages of grief, and not all of us understand what it is that we're going through and what we're experiencing. And sometimes you're experiencing things that you think, I shouldn't feel this way. This isn't right. Well, it is. Believe it or not, there are different stages that you have to go through. Some of us go through them rather quickly. Some of us go through them very slowly. For some people, we'll get stuck in one particular stage and not be able to get past that. And, if we get stuck in a stage where we're not dealing with it very well and we're just, in a prolonged state of unhappiness, that's when you really should reach out and find someone to help you get through that, whether it's a grief counselor or a good friend or a pastor, someone who can help you move through things. So the first stage of grief that we go through, and this can start even before the loss, shock and denial. This can't be happening. There's no way. When we walked in and saw Pookie that Monday night, when we left Sunday morning, she was sitting up wagging her tail, licking us, happy. And when we walked in and saw her Monday night, first of all, there was complete shock, and then denial. Hugh was just saying, no, there's no way. There's no way. And, it's just, you cannot believe that this is happening or this has happened. And you just say, there's no way. I can't believe it. This isn't happening. This isn't meant to be this way. It's not. It's not real. You can move through that quickly, or depending on whether, if you have a loved one, whether it's an animal or a person that's in critical care for a long period of time, you can remain in that shock and denial phase for a long time. The second stage that we go through is pain and guilt. And I spent a bit of time in pain and guilt. I'm still dealing with that for some of the ones we've lost in the past. And it's really interesting. I've told this story before, but we had an animal communicator who said to us at an event, quite a while after we had lost one of our dogs. And she looked at us and she said, your dog wants you to know that you should not feel guilty, that she is happy where she is, but she is stuck and she can't move forward until you release the guilt. You've got to release that and move on, because we're always going to say, I should have done something differently. I could have done more. With Pookie, I have guilt over leaving her for 36 hours and not seeing her in that time period, because I thought she was okay. Like I was in denial that anything was going to happen badly. And so when I did hit that shock and that wall, then the second step, guilt, hit in really fast. Pain, I think, you really love someone when your heart breaks, and it is palpable. It is painful. You can just feel it being ripped out of your chest. It is physically painful, gut-wrenching. When they say it's gut-wrenching and my heart is breaking, those are physical feelings as well as, verbal descriptions of what is going on. The next thing becomes anger and bargaining. So frustration leads to anger, and you can lash out and lay unwanted blame for your loss on someone else. And boy, I moved into anger. I haven't gotten rid of all that anger yet, because I need to talk to some people that I don't think held up their end of what they were supposed to be doing, and I am angry. And I can talk about that later after I talk to them. But I'm angry. And then we go into depression, reflection, and loneliness. And it's really interesting. When I posted the first post with the raindrops and said we're devastated because we've lost our little princess. And there's at least 1,200 comments on that. And while I appreciate and thank every one of you for every comment, for every heart, for every paw print, I could read them at the beginning, but then there became a point where reading them just made me cry and kept holding that depression, and I was just the sadness was overwhelming. And so I had to walk away from that for a few days, and I can look at them better now, and believe me, I appreciate it. And when we all do give our condolences and send cards, believe me, it's helpful, but sometimes you can't open those cards right at that moment, or you can't look at those gifts right at that moment. Sometimes you just need to let them sit until you can open them and appreciate them better, and not be in a state of, just so low and so depressed, and all you want to do is walk around and cry. And then once we start to adjust and accept things a little bit, we start to move upward, and we start to turn toward acceptance and hope. For me, I am a believer that our animals go to another plane and another place that's a better place, and they will be there waiting for us when we get to that place. And I'm not going to turn this into a religious ceremony, because, we all have different beliefs, and whatever your beliefs are, I hope that they serve you well. I know that mine serve me well. I can't say that I'm 100% accepting at this point, but I have hope for the future and moving forward. And when we've finally kind of worked through things, then we can remember our loved ones with a smile on our face, and we can remember all the positive things and the joy that they gave us. And, I'll be able to think of Pookie not on that last day, but instead of Pookie in her outfits. And where is that? Where's the frame? Is it behind me? I'll be able to think of her with happiness, and not... I thought I brought it in here. It's in here somewhere, honey. But there comes a point where, it might be behind me, where you'll be able to remember your loved one with joy and happiness, and think about only the wonderful things that you did with them, the happy things that you did with them, and all the joy that they brought everyone. Oh, well, okay. Hugh will zoom in. There you go. So, Mary Cole, thank you very much. She found the absolute perfect frame for our princess. It's a princess frame with a tiara. And she found a perfect picture of Pookie in a Mardi Gras party dress, because that was Pookie's favorite thing, to get dressed up and to wear her fancy clothes. And I would just bring out any outfit for any dog. Scout, after a bath, has to put pajamas on to stay warm because he doesn't have any body fat. She would see that, and she would squeak and jump up and down and wag her tail, because she loved getting dressed up. And so when we you're in pain, guilt, anger, depression because your lack of knowledge caused them to die, you will be able to move forward past that. And I just have to tell you, that communicator that told me that about our Laura, and enabled me to move past the guilt and move forward. And that doesn't mean the guilt is 100% gone. It doesn't mean that I don't think about that, but boy, it helped. We have to give that up, guys, because it just mires us down, and it mires them down. And when she told me that, it was incredibly helpful. Just remember, we don't know what we don't know. And when we do know, then we do better. And that's all we can hang on to. And so we want to cherish our little ones and our loved ones for as long as they're with us. And know that it's okay to cry, and you have to go through all these stages. If you get stuck in one of them, if you get stuck in loneliness, if you get stuck in depression, please reach out to someone. And, you know, the people to reach out to might not be the person sitting at the desk next to you at work. They may look at animals totally differently than you do. You need to find someone who understands them the way that you do and reach out to that. And, you know, I see some people on Facebook in particular that 7 and 10 years later, all they can focus on is that loss. They have not moved through all 7 stages. They have not moved on. They have not moved forward. They are mired in that depression. They're mired in using that as their only form of getting attention. Your friends get tired of it. Your friends will start to turn away. You need to get help. You need to find someone who understands and can help you move forward. You need to remember your lost ones. You need to remember your loved ones. But you need to do it in a healthy way that will serve you and serve them positively. And I know it's hard because, believe me, Hugh and I are still stuck somewhere in the middle of this. Oh, really, Mr. Whiny Pants? And we've got a lot of seniors here. So, you know, it's a little tough, but we cherish them every day. We enjoy them every day. I never thought that Pookie would be the next dog that we would lose. Kind of like when Myra went. We never thought. She was the youngest. We never thought we would lose her first. So it's tough. There are books on this. There are tons of articles. I just Googled before we started the stages of grief. And if you Google that, you'll find tons of articles. You'll find tons of things to read, tons of help. And I would recommend that you read through some of them and really understand what stage you're in and how to move forward to the next stage, because there's lots of help out there. So, okay, we are going to the beach. I am going to get some tan. I don't know what Hugh's doing. I have so many books I want to read. Oh my gosh, I have so many books. I'm going to spend a couple days reading. That's like the best vacation. Best vacation. My son, my big surprise was my son and his girlfriend flew in from Colorado. That was like, the garage door went up and there was my son standing there with flowers in his hand, and I just lost it. My sister has a video somewhere. I'll have to get it. So we took them to the airport yesterday, took them out to lunch, walked along the waterfront in Wilmington, had just the greatest day. It was so amazing, and I got to spend so much time with my daughter this weekend. It was just amazing. Unfortunately, Brandon, our son-in-law, couldn't make it, but just a great weekend. So, gonna have a little fun for the next couple days. Those of you who need me at the office, sorry, I'll be there Thursday. Little time for me. Us.